once walked a road that never seemed to end. It began as a narrow path of dust and stone, stretching beyond the horizon, like a promise no one had quite finished making. He didn't remember when he had first stepped onto it, only that one day he was walking, and he hadn't stopped since. He carried very little worn satchel, a small flask, a map so faded it might as well have been blank. The strange thing was, he didn't seem to mind not knowing where he was going. In fact, that uncertainty felt like the only thing keeping him moving. Along the way, he passed through places that felt like dreams. There was a village where the lanterns never went out, even in daylight. The people there spoke softly, as if they feared waking something beneath the ground. They offered him bread and a place to rest, but when he asked how to leave, they only pointed back the way he came. So he left at dawn, choosing a direction no one had shown him. Further on, he crossed a forest where the trees leaned inward, their branches whispering secrets just out of reach. At night, he swore he heard footsteps behind him, but every time he turned, there was nothing but the hush of leaves. Still, he felt less alone there than anywhere else. One evening, as the sky burned gold and violet, he came upon a river, so still it reflected the world perfectly. On the opposite bank stood another traveler. They looked exactly alike. Same worn satchel, same tired eyes, same quiet expression that said, "I've been searching for something I can't name." Neither spoke at first. Then, as if by instinct, they both stepped forward, each expecting the other to meet them halfway. But the river did not ripple, the reflection did not break, and slowly, the traveler realized there was no one there, just himself, and the path behind him, and the path ahead. He sat by the river until the stars came out, thinking about all the places he had been, all the roads he had taken, all the versions of himself he might have been if he had chosen differently. For the first time, he felt the weight of it. Not regret. Exactly. But something close. The understanding that every step forward meant leaving something else behind. When he finally stood, the other side of the river was gone. In its place was a new path, narrower than the last, steeper, uncertain. He smiled. Because now he understood understood something he hadn't before. The road wasn't leading him anywhere. It was becoming him. And so the traveler adjusted his satchel, took a breath, and stepped forward again. Into a journey that would never truly end. But would always, somehow, feel like it was just beginning. In a lush, sun-dappled corner of the jungle, where waterfalls sang in golden light, filtered through wide emerald leaves, there lived a lion, unlike any other. His mane was black, not dark brown, not shadowed gold, truly black. It shimmered like midnight, absorbing the sunlight and giving it back as a quiet, mysterious glow. Among the lions of the jungle, whose manes burned like fire or shone like dry grass, he stood alone. His name was Onyx. Onyx lived in a part of the jungle few others dared to roam. It was a place of beauty. Thick vines curled like ribbons through ancient trees. Flowers bloomed in colors that seemed almost unreal. And a clear river wound through the land like a silver thread. Birds with bright wings sang melodies that echoed through the canopy, and the air always carried the scent of rain and life. But even in such a beautiful place, Onyx often felt the weight of being different. When he was younger, he had wandered beyond his home, curious about others like him. He had found prides of lions resting beneath acacia trees, their golden manes glowing in the sun. But when they saw him, their curiosity turned to unease. Why is his mane like the night? Some whispered, is he cursed? Others wondered. No one chased him away, but no one welcomed him either. So Onyx returned to his jungle, the only place where he felt truly at peace. There, he learned the rhythms of the land. He walked silently beneath the trees, his dark mane blending into the shadows. He could move unseen when he wished, a quiet guardian of the jungle paths. The animals came to know him, not as something strange, but as something steady. A family of monkeys would chatter loudly when he passed, not in fear, but in greeting. A great elephant once nodded his head in respect, saying, "You carry the forest with you." Even the river seemed to recognize him, reflecting his black mane like a second sky flowing beneath him. Still, there were nights when Onyx would sit atop a high rock overlooking the jungle, gazing at the horizon. The stars above mirrored his mane, and he would wonder if somewhere out there was another like him. One evening, as the sun melted into shades of orange and purple, a storm rolled and the winds howled, trees bent and rain poured down in sheets. The jungle trembled. From the chaos came cries, small, frightened cries. Onyx's ears flicked. Without hesitation, he moved. Through the storm he ran, his dark mane whipping around him like a storm cloud of its own. He followed the sound to a fallen tree, where a group of young animals, deer, monkeys, and a small cub from another bride, were trapped beneath tangled branches. The jungle roared with thunder, but Onyx roared louder. With powerful strength, he pushed against the heavy wood, claws digging into the earth. The rain soaked him. Lightning lit up the sky, and for a moment, he looked like something out of legend. A lion carved from night itself, battling the storm. With one final surge, the tree shifted. The animals scrambled free. They looked at him, not with fear, but with awe. "Thank you," the little cub whispered. When the storm passed, word spread. The black-maned lion was not strange. He was brave. He was strong. He was part of the jungle. From that day on, Onyx was no longer alone. Not because there were others like him, but because he no longer needed them to be. The jungle had accepted him, just as he had always belonged to it. And every evening, as the sun dipped low and the shadows grew long, you could see him standing tall on his rock, his black mane blending with the coming night. No longer an outcast, but a legend of the jungle. In a quiet pond, tucked between tall grasses and whispering reeds, there lived a tiny tadpole named Timo. Timo was small, smaller than the drifting petals that sometimes landed on the water, smaller than the ripples made by a falling drop of rain. He had a round little body and a wiggly tail, and he spent his days swimming in gentle circles, watching the world shimmer above him. Every night, when the sky turned deep blue and the stars blinked softly, Timo would float near the surface and wonder, "What's up there?" he would whisper. The older frogs would croak from lily pads, their voices low and calm. "That's the sky," one would say. And one day, another would add, "You'll see more of it." But Timo didn't understand how he had no legs to hop, no voice to croak, only his tiny tail to swish through the cool water. So he stayed where he was, dreaming. One evening, as the moon poured silver light across the pond, Timo met a glowing friend, a firefly named Luma. Luma drifted just above the water, her light flickering softly like a heartbeat. "Why do you always look up?" she asked. Timo wiggled closer. "Because it feels like there's something waiting for me up there, but I don't know how to reach it." Luma glowed a little brighter. "Maybe you're not meant to rush," she said gently. "Maybe you're still becoming." Timo didn't fully understand, but her words felt warm like sunlight through water. Days passed, then weeks. The pond changed in quiet ways. The water warmed, the lilies stretched wider, and the breeze carried new songs. And then, one morning, something strange happened. Timo felt a tiny twitch, right where his body met his tail. He wiggled faster. "What's happening to me?" The wise old turtle, who had seen many seasons, lifted his head from the mud. "You're growing," he said, "just as you're meant to." Soon, small legs began to appear. First just little buds, then stronger and longer. Timo's tail grew shorter, and his swims became slower, different. At first, it felt confusing. "I don't swim like I used to," Timo said. "That's because you're not who you used to be," the turtle replied kindly. Each day, Timo changed a little more. He rested more often, floating among the reeds, watching the sky he had always wondered about. And then, one quiet evening, as the sunset painted the pond in soft gold, Timo felt something new. He pushed against the water and rose. For the first time, he climbed onto a lily pad. The air felt cool and fresh. The world was bigger than he'd ever imagined. The sky stretched endlessly above him, painted with soft clouds and glowing light. Timo blinked, amazed. "I made it," he whispered. From above, Luma drifted down, her glow gentle and proud. "I told you," she said softly, "you were becoming." Timo looked back at the water, the place where he had started, where he had dreamed. Then he looked up again at the sky. For the first time, he let out a small, happy croak. That night, as the stars twinkled and the pond grew still, Timo curled up on his lily pad, safe and warm. The breeze hummed a quiet lullaby. The water shimmered softly below. And the sky, once so far away, now felt like home. And as Timo drifted into sleep, he dreamed not of reaching somewhere new, but of all the beautiful places he would go next. Good night, little tadpole. In a quiet little town, after soft, gentle rain, there lived a small puddle named Pella by a lane. not wide like the rivers, not deep like the sea, just a shimmer of water, as calm as could be. She rested beside a green garden so bright, catching the day and reflecting the light. When morning would come and the sun would appear, Pella would whisper, "Good morning, my dear." The clouds drifted by in a slow, sleepy glide, and Pella held each one that floated inside. The birds would hop over and pause for a peek. Their reflections would ripple with each tiny beak. "I may be quite small," Pella said with a sigh, "but I hold the whole world when I look at the sky." All through the day she would shimmer and gleam, holding each color like part of a dream. The blue of the sky, the white clouds above, each moment she held with a quiet kind of love. But then came a sound, heavy boots on the ground, stomping and splashing with thunderous sound. Splash went the boots right into her space, sending small droplets in every direction and place. "Oh dear," Pella cried as her surface broke wide. "My calm has been shaken, my stillness denied." The boots hurried on without even a glance, leaving behind her disturbed little dance. "I'm only a puddle," she said, feeling small, so easy to scatter, so easy to fall. Then softly beside her a green voice was heard, from fern in the garden, who gently conferred. "You may have been rippled, but look once again. You're still here, dear Pella. You haven't met end." Pella grew quiet and looked at her face. The ripples were fading, restoring her grace. She softened and stilled, becoming once more a mirror of calm like she had been before. Just then the sky turned to a warm glowing hue, with gold mixed with pink and soft evening blue. Pella looked up and gasped in delight as the sunset poured in with its radiant light. "Oh look," she whispered, "I'm glowing inside. The whole sky is here, in my soft little tide." Then one tiny star blinked into the night, and there in her surface it shimmered so bright. "I can hold stars," Pella said with a smile. "I've had magic in me all the while." "You see," Fern replied with a soft leafy sway, "you don't need be big to reflect in this way." The moon soon arrived, round, gentle and slow, and rested in Pella with a silvery glow. The crickets sang softly, the world tucked in tight, as Pella held dreams in the hush of the night. And there as she rested, peaceful and still, she knew something deep beyond size or small will, that even a puddle so quiet and small can hold the great sky and reflect it all.
Far beyond the busy towns and glowing streets, where the air felt soft and the sky stretched wide, there was a rolling hill that shimmered at night. On that hill lived a tiny light named Luma. Luma wasn't a star, and she wasn't a firefly. She was something in between, a soft, glowing light that floated just above the grass, warm and gentle like a whisper. Each night, as the world grew quiet, Luma would wake. She would drift slowly across the hill, brushing the tops of the grass with her glow. Wherever she passed, the crickets softened their songs, the breeze slowed its dance, and even the leaves seemed to rest. Luma had a special gift. She helped things fall asleep. One evening, as the moon rose high in silver, Luma noticed something unusual. At the edge of the hill sat a small, restless cloud. It wasn't like the others drifting peacefully across the sky. This cloud fidgeted and shifted, changing shape over and over again. Luma floated closer. "Hello," she said softly, her light glowing a little warmer. "Why aren't you resting with the others?" The cloud sighed, stretching into a long, uneven shape. "I don't know how," it said. "I keep moving and changing. I can't seem to be still." Luma hovered beside it, her glow steady and calm. "That's okay," she said. "You don't have to rush sometimes. Rest comes slowly." The cloud wobbled. "But what if I never stop moving?" Luma drifted in a small, slow circle. "Then we'll start with something smaller," she said. "Just float with me." The cloud hesitated, then gently followed. Luma moved slowly, so slowly it almost felt like standing still. She glided across the hill, her light brushing the ground in soft waves. "Breathe," she whispered. The cloud didn't know how to breathe, but it tried something close. It softened its edges. "Let go," Luma said gently. The cloud stopped trying to change shapes. It simply floated. Together, they moved across the quiet hill, past the sleeping flowers, past the still trees, past the gentle hum of the night. The cloud began to feel lighter, softer, calmer. "I think I'm slowing down," it said. Luma's glow flickered warmly. "You are." They drifted a little farther, until the clouds settled into a soft, rounded shape, no longer stretching, no longer rushing. For the first time, it was still. "Is this rest?" the cloud asked. Luma smiled, her light dimming just slightly. "Yes," she whispered. "This is rest." The moon watched quietly as the cloud stayed just as it was, peaceful and calm, floating gently in place. Luma circled once more, then began to dim. Her work was done for the night. As she drifted back toward her place above the hill, the world grew even quieter. The crickets hummed softer. The breeze slowed to a hush, and the small cloud stayed perfectly still, resting under the silver moon. Luma gave one last gentle glow, and then, like everything else, she, too, fell asleep.
Tonight, as you settle into your bed, let your pillow cradle your head. The day is done, the night is near, and peaceful dreams are waiting here. Take a slow, deep breath in, and gently let it out. Again, breathe in, and slowly release. Feel your body soften now. No need to think of when or how. Just let your muscles melt away, like clouds that drift at end of day. In a quiet place beyond the light, there lies a path so soft, so bright. A gentle trail of glowing sand that leads into a peaceful land. You find yourself upon that way, with nothing urgent, nowhere to stay. Just step by step, calm and slow, watching silver grasses glow. Take another deep breath in and out. As you walk, your shoulders feel light. Your jaw unclenches, everything's right. Your arms hang loose, your fingers rest. A wave of calm flows through your chest. Beside the path, a stream flows by, reflecting stars in the quiet sky. The water hums a soothing tune, like a lullaby sung by the moon. Pause here now and gently breathe. Feel the calm you can receive. Each breath in brings peaceful ease. Each breath out releases unease. In and out. You continue on, your steps so slow, to a meadow where soft lights glow. Fireflies dance in golden streams, lighting the edges of your dreams. In the center, a resting place, a bed of moss, a quiet space. You lie down gently, safe and warm, cradled by night, away from harm. Feel your legs grow heavy now, your feet, your calves, your knees. Let them sink into the softness below. Your hips and your stomach relax. Your chest rises and falls with ease. Your shoulders drop. Your arms feel warm and still. Your hands completely at rest. Your neck softens. Your face smooths. Even your eyelids grow gently heavy. Breathe in slowly and out. In this place, there's nothing to do. No worries waiting, no thoughts to pursue. Just quiet stillness, soft and deep, as you drift closer into sleep. The stars above begin to dim. The edges of dreams grow soft and thin. And as you rest in gentle peace, all the noise begins to cease. Now, just breathe naturally, slowly. Let yourself drift. Let yourself go. And as the night wraps you in sleep, you sink into dreams so calm and deep.